Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and we got a news alert to be able to hit here. The Raiders are re-signing, Brandon Parker. I'm not going to lie, I did not forecast this move coming, but it doesn't really surprise me all that much. What you're going to be seeing here on today's show is me telling you why the Raiders decided to go with this move, what it means for the current offensive line, and what a lot of Raider fans should expect going into free agency and going into the draft. Now, last season, Parker did not play. I know for whatever reason there was a report out there that Parker was not going to miss the season. I tried to tell you that Parker was going to end up missing the season. He had a really bad triceps injury, which held him out. I do also know this, though. The Silver and Black, they liked him last offseason, and he was the one player that they talked about with Alex Leatherwood, trying to convince Raider Nation that this was going to be your starting right tackle. So, yeah, he did not play in 2022, but no matter what, you have a player that can play left tackle, he can play right tackle, and to me, he's best when he is a depth player, especially as a swing. So as it stands right now, this is what the Raiders' offensive line currently looks like. You got Colton Miller at left, Dylan Parham at left guard, but then Jermaine Illuminor, who still is a free agent. The Raiders did re-sign Netane Moody, who we'll actually talk about at the end of today's show. But then I have said for a long time that this is a team that's probably going to move on from Andre James. You're probably going to kick Dylan Parham in at left guard. I know the Raiders like Netane Moody, and if you've been watching again, you kick Dylan Parham into left guard. What happens with Moody? That then technically makes him your starting left guard. Could the Raiders potentially do something with their Munford, who they drafted in round 7 last season, have him battle it out with Brandon Parker as a right tackle since Illuminor? You don't know if they're going to bring him back or not. I do know that I do a lot of crazy stuff on this show. We're live right now, and I appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Bottom line is this. Anytime that we do breaking news here, or anytime there is news around the Raiders, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that those notifications are on, because when stuff happens, I'm going to have you covered. So let's go down in the comments right now. Get loud for me. Grade the re-signing of Brandon Parker. The contract details are not out, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be like a one-year, $1.1 million deal. Last offseason, Parker signed with the team at $2.5 million. A, B, C, D, or F. Say it with your chest. Let me know what you're thinking, and I'll let you know what my grade is after this YouTube ad break. My grade for Brandon Parker coming back to the Raiders as I know it right now, if that contract is at $1.1 million, the minimum, then I'm going to give this a C+, B- grade. If the Raiders' plan is to start Parker at right tackle, I'm going to be real with y'all, I don't love that option. However, if the Raiders' plan is to have him as that backup swing, well, then I actually like this plan a whole lot more. Why? Because we got to be able to face the facts. The Raiders do have a lot of question marks on the offensive line. Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler, they said that they are going to build their team from the inside out. What does that mean to me? Offensive line, defensive line, and they have already re-signed 3 players, 2 of which play on the offensive line. So, you got Parker, you got an unknown commodity in Thayer Munford. That could be your backup depth at both left tackle and at right tackle. But the fact that they decided to bring him back, that tells me that he's healthy. That tells me that they want him on the team for depth. And I do think that they are at least going to allow him to compete for that starting job. That doesn't mean he's going to get it. I have been told by a good source that the Raiders are still going to be active at the offensive line in both the guard and the offensive tackle position in free agency and the draft. I was told free agency, they like the guards a little bit more. In the draft, they like the offensive tackles a little bit more. But Brandon Parker has been re-signed by the Las Vegas Raiders, and I do think that this move, the number one name that I think of, man, how does this impact Jermaine Illuminor? Because Jermaine Illuminor is coming off the best season he's ever had. Best season he's ever had as a pro. About to hit the open market. What if he wants $7 million per year? There might be a team that gives him that money. I wouldn't give Jermaine that much. My cap for Jermaine Illuminor is $4 million because I wouldn't want to invest more than that because I haven't really seen him do anything else outside of Carmen Brasillo. So if this is your option to go a little bit cheaper, potentially spend bigger on some other names out there because you have confidence in Carmen Brasillo, because you have confidence in your Raiders offensive line, I mean, you got to be able to face the facts. Last season, nobody had confidence whatsoever in this Raiders line. They played a lot better than anticipated. In fact, they were a top 15 overall line. So if this is the Raiders' plan, I know how shitty last season was, but you got to give Carmen Brasillo a little bit of credit, and if this is the path they want to go a little bit cheaper on the O-line to help build the D, I'm okay with it. So here we go. You let me know. Will the Raiders draft an offensive tackle? And if you think that they're gonna, let me know who you think it is. I know one player that has got my eye is DeJuan Jones from Georgia. They don't make guys that have 7'5" wingspans, man. They are a dime a dozen. They're not a dime a dozen. So he's a hell of a player. I know that he would love to be probably, what did I say? Oh, geez, Ohio State. It's the red jerseys. I think I've done it every single year. I know I did it last year with Thayer Munford, too. But you got DeJuan, who's just got this incredible wingspan, and I know Carmen Brasillo looks for those offensive linemen with long wingspans, hence Brandon Parker, 6'7", right? Now, other moves that have gone down around the Raiders over the past 24 hours. Netane Moody, the Raiders, they decided to re-sign him, and again, he's somewhere around like $1.1 million. Another player that they like, he was on the Broncos practice squad last season when they brought him in. He serves as good depth. If Alex Bars can start at guard, there's no reason why Moody can't either, because if you want a mean mother effer, which is what I said in my YouTube short yesterday, I think you're going to like Moody. And then the other move that the Raiders have made ahead of free agency is they brought back Amir Abdullah, which, for those that don't know, and this is only for the real ones out there, if you're a real one, spam RO4L. The reason why Chat Sports loves Amir Abdullah is because we went live last offseason for the breaking news that the Raiders, they signed Amir Abdullah, and then 45 minutes later, there was a trade that went down. I think his name was oh, yeah, that's it, Devontae Adams, and we were live for another 8 hours. So bottom line is this. You love the Raiders. You want breaking news heading into free agency. Subscribe for more videos. We got you covered here on the Raiders Report. So one more time here, and then we're going to get this show really, really rocking if you're watching live. If you're watching this on a, I don't know, not live, join our live show. It's Friday happy hour. So again, the Las Vegas Raiders, they have re-signed Brandon Parker to a one-year deal. I do think that the initial plan is he's going to be there for depth, being somebody who they can rely on as being a swing left tackle, right tackle. Could help out Thayer Munford a little bit as well if he's not ready to take that next step. It could also be a plan, though, where, hey, if the Raiders aren't confident in bringing back Jermaine Illuminor, they could look at Brandon Parker as being almost that plan C option. Friendly reminder one more time here, if you haven't already, hit me up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, especially this time of the year, because this is the craziest time of the year around the NFL. I don't want you to miss anything going on around this team here, so you can find me here. Of course, you can always find me here, but you can also find me here.